we're live again. Welcome, everybody.
Getting geared up for rodeo, Sisters Rodeo this week.
That's
Woo-hoo!
right. Got our cowboy boots.
That's right.
We are ready. And I made a cowboy cocktail. It's from Fort Restaurant in Denver. And it's their famous drink since 1963.
Love
And it's
it.
supposed to have beef jerky in it, but didn't have any. So let us know what you're sipping on.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready here to have Lee share about his memoir and read chapter 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 5. So it should be really good.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Again, let us know when you get on.
Anybody else going to the rodeo this week? It's in Sisters, Oregon. What is it? What did they call it? The biggest.
It's the biggest little show in the world.
The biggest little show in the world.
And it is so fun.
Best rodeo. It's just great. The whole week is rodeo week.
Fun.
So we have the Bulls on Wednesday night, and then Locals night, and Sisters. We all go into Sisters and have really good music and hang out.
And our brothers coming over, our sisters coming over.
Yeah. It's going to be really fun.
Lee's daughter and
family.
And
So
friends.
We're going to have a house full.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
It's gonna be really fun.
Definitely. Still have 3 minutes.
All right. Is anybody on there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Cool.
I'm just going to set this over here in case you need a cheat sheet.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Well, shall we go down and get ready?
Sure. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Let me.
Well, you got to come down.
Now I
too.
got to come down too. Here we go.
Welcome to our number 6 live. I can't believe that.
That's
exciting.
crazy.
Fun.
Seems like we just started
Yeah.
doing that.
I'm coming. Don't worry.
He's coming down.
Start of the show.
That's right.
Exactly. All right.
Kind of tough way to become a star.
That's right. That's for sure.
All right.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
You have to wait a minute.
Have to wait.
Why?
Is it
it 4?
4 yet?
Not quite.
Oh, close enough.
Close enough.
We can get started. Welcome,
Yeah, we've got
everybody.
people on here.
Good.
All right.
Welcome.
Well, begin with just a quick recap.
Perfect.
I'm basically reading a chapter a week and then taking questions about it, or people can ask questions from, last week, that sort of thing. But
Sure.
it's about my injury about 6 years ago, broke my neck, and this has just been kind of this journey of being a quadriplegic, which is, I don't recommend it for everyone, but
That's for sure.
it has been a journey, and I've during this time pretty much gotten to or had to experience just about every surgical procedure, every complication, every problem that you can have with quadriplegia. It's just been crazy. And so I wrote a book about it, or in the process of writing one.
Yeah.
We're almost done. And this is part of the deal of getting it done, is just reading it through and getting feedback.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are kind of our beta readers by being beta listeners and questioners. So
Yeah.
And by the way, with the questions, you can put them in the comments if you want. And then Brady will be checking them, and you can jump in anytime if you have a question, and we'll just kind of pause and answer your questions too.
I don't
call in. You
you don't call it.
Yeah.
But I don't mind being interrupted, so
Cool.
I like to ad-lib it.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true. You're good at that.
Yeah.
Do you need a sip before you start?
I need more than one sip before I start.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Happy hour.
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Are we ready to go or what?
Ready.
We're ready. We're on.
Excuse me.
Oh, somebody says, what is your favorite top 2 country singers of all time?
I'd say
I love
the
it.
top 3 is that.
Top 2.
Two.
I'd say Toby Keith and Garth Brooks.
I was going to say Garth Brooks
Not
and George Strait.
Well,
Exactly.
yes and no. I mean,
In
there
the
are
top 3.
there's a
Top 3.
okay. Yeah, George Strait would definitely be in there too, because he sang a song that was in our
The
wedding.
wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walked down the
aisle.
the aisle to.
It's George Strait song.
That's right.
Mhm.
It's Cross
And then
My
they-
Heart or
And then we
something like
danced
that.
to a
Dance
Garth
was to Garth
Brooks
Brooks.
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we boogied to Toby Keith. I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends upon the mood,
Sure.
just like everything. But those are the main ones.
Cool.
Love it.
Boy, that's good. That's the first time I've ever had a question
No,
before I
before you
even
even
start
started.
opening my
I love
mouth.
it.
No, it's perfect.
Oh, I love it. Okay. This one is, we're calling it Chapter 5, and its working title is My Arrival Home. And this is after I got out of 3 months of rehab at Craig Hospital in Denver. And it starts on the day, basically, I left. And here it goes, if you're ready.
Yep.
Okay. On discharge day, Craig, which is Craig Hospital, provided a van to transport Lee to the Denver International Airport, which should have been a 4 or 5 hour journey to get all the way home, stretched into nearly 12 hours. The day ended just before midnight when they all finally arrived at the house back in Oregon. The level of everyone's exhaustion was palpable. Kim, who's my sister, helped Lee into bed and collapsed down beside him, both of them beyond words. Within 30 minutes, we should have been asleep, but reality reasserted itself. A major gastrointestinal event, which I call a blowout, required a full-scale cleanup. Literally the worst thing that could happen at the worst time. Thankfully, Kim was prepared and she didn't complain about it, got everything cleaned up. She remained undeterred. After that, she coordinated the continuation of therapy that started at Craig. She ordered equipment, arranged for physical therapists to travel from Bend. One of them that we found, and it was really the only one that would consider coming all the way from Bend, which is about an hour to go, all the way out here, because I was not in any condition to go back and forth into Bend. It just wasn't going to happen. So we found this group called Destination Rehab, and they agreed to come out to the house. And we started at 3 days a week for extended sessions of physical therapy. The other 4 days of exhausting workouts were continued with the help of his family and caregivers. Going home turned out to be far more than just a hospital discharge. It was a logistical operation, one compressed into the final 2 weeks at Craig Hospital, where planning, training, decision-making unfolded at a pace that normally takes a few months. And that was because of COVID. Basically.
Yeah.
I had to leave and all of a sudden be home. And it's just the amount of modifications and everything that had to happen to my house to accommodate this power wheelchair were done. What happened was there was a general contractor already working here on the house on a remodel. And he dropped everything, shifted his priorities. Doorways were widened or even removed entirely. Ramps had to be built for entry through the garage and into the main living area so you get actually into the house. And the primary master bedroom, luckily, was already on the main level. Inside the house had to be totally reimagined. Even the shower I had, it had a 4-inch threshold that required a ramp to be built. The kitchen, the dining room, the living room, of course, were all separated by just a step or two. And because of that, it had to be interconnected by a large interior ramp that sat right here in the middle of the house. The garage door was transformed, or the garage was actually transformed into a small rehab facility, which essentially became the center of his new life. A therapy table, a recumbent Stairmaster, a standing frame, a Hoyer lift, they all arrived, had to be assembled. And physical therapy was scheduled for 3 hours a day, 3 times a week, supplemented by self-directed sessions on the remaining days. The garage gym became a substitute for Craig Hospital's state-of-the-art rehab facility. An overhead rail system, modeled after the one described in a book written by a quadriplegic, was installed to assist with walking practice. It didn't have the exact precision of the vector system at the hospital. It was adequate enough to assist them. For the next 18 months, there was measurable improvement. With some minimal assistance, Lee could walk about 30 yards using a walker. There were moments that felt like breakthroughs, like walking into a restaurant under his own power, which he did, and was actually able to dance a dance to some live music.
That was so fun.
Yeah, with these 2 characters and another
That's right.
and another caregiver.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
Really cool.
Wasn't easy to get in up a ramp and all that,
Yeah,
but we got it done. The moments mattered, all these improvements and everything, because they hinted at a possibility.
For sure.
Problem was that the recovery just didn't continue in a straight line. The early days were marked by gradual improvement in strength, dexterity. He could celebrate these small victories with family and friends who visited periodically. But as weeks turned into months through the summer, the emotional weight of this new reality began to settle in. There was this absence of a significant other, like a personal significant other, to share before. Well, yeah, you're significant. Oh, we got a whole chapter on you. Don't worry. Basically, this absence of having somebody to share all this with just became ridiculously difficult. There's a song in a George Strait
Speaking of George Strait.
song. There's a lyric that says, "You can't have it all by yourself."
I love that song.
And even though I had caregivers here constantly,
Not the same.
it really isn't the same. So I became pretty depressed about it. So by, let's see, it would be 3 months after getting back, this gradual suffocating black cloud seemed to descend over him. The despair and constant pain that was occurring became so overwhelming that he began to consider physician-assisted suicide. Slight background is that in 94, Oregon passed the nation's first Death with Dignity Act. It legalizes physician-assisted suicide. However, the eligibility for that assisted suicide with a physician's help requires a physician, and I believe it's 2 physicians, to diagnose a terminal illness expected to result in death within 6 months, which is basically a terminal illness. Right. Most common conditions of these are terminal cancer, severe strokes, progressive neurologic conditions such as ALS, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. The weird thing is that neither just plain depression, total paralysis, or severe pain meet a standard of a terminal diagnosis. So the bottom line is, if you don't qualify under those, then whether you want to take your life or not, doesn't matter. The state keeps you from doing it. They'll just keep you alive and keep you tortured no matter what. It's crazy. Exactly. Erica remembered getting a call from her dad, and that's my daughter, by the way. Quote, "He sounded really distraught," she said. "He was talking to me about looking into this physician-assisted suicide. I remember feeling like," quote, "this is serious. Dad's really not in a good place mentally or physically." She knew her dad had accepted his physical state, the paralysis, but this also increasing pain was really affecting him mentally. Quote from her, "It makes me very sad. I wanted my dad to be here, but at the same time, I sympathize with him too," she said. Despite feeling desolate, he soldiered on, undergoing different types of procedures, various treatments and therapies to improve all the physical circumstances. But sometimes they failed or had some devastating side effects. And then there was the insurance component. It limits formal outpatient therapy to roughly 40 sessions after being discharged from the hospital. This meant that the structured PT schedule that we had originally gotten, going 3 days a week, had to be dropped down to once a week. Still, we continued therapy daily, even without physical therapists. Caregivers and family, if they were here, continued 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. But over time, the physical progress from all this continued physical therapy basically plateaued. Then came a new challenge, one that we call spasticity, or increased tone. It's when muscles in the arms, the legs, the trunk area become increasingly stiff, limiting movement and making movement and therapy much more difficult. There's a medication called baclofen, which is a muscle relaxant, which was taken and offered him very limited relief. Because of that, a baclofen pump was considered. And basically what that is, it's a device that delivers medication directly into the spinal fluid. And to be considered a candidate for that, you have to undergo a test dose. And so at the hospital, under CT guidance and a lumbar puncture, which is a needle stuck through the lower part of your spine into the spinal fluid, an initial puncture and injection of baclofen showed immediate promise. Lee's walking improved, and the workouts intensified, and optimism surged. Following that, the pump was actually surgically implanted. And with that, not only the pump put in, but there's a catheter, a little tiny tube, that is inserted down between low in the back through L4, L5 area. The catheter, which is threaded up into the spinal canal and is there to allow emptying of small doses of this baclofen or any other drug you decide to put into it over 24 hours continuously. It sort of worked. And for Lee, there was some major frustration. The progress had come in inches, and no, that's okay. We're nope. Yeah, there we go. The progress that I'd been having had come in small increments. And it wasn't through just sitting around, it's from lots of physical therapy. Now the problem is that even maintaining those gains felt really uncertain. Physical therapy had been a source of hope. It was a structured fight against the limits imposed by his injury. And at home, it became something more complicated. Daily disciplined workouts, despite knowing that there really weren't any guarantees that there was going to be any significant improvement. Knowing all of it was probably just slowing the deterioration that was happening, magnified his frustration. The work, nonetheless, every day continued. Basically just had to. In August, which was about 2 months after getting home, one of the first major surgeries, I guess you'd call it, was placing a suprapubic catheter. And it's essentially a way of emptying the bladder. And it was surgically inserted directly into the bladder, right? I'm going to point to it. It's like right there, right where my belt is. It's above the pubic bone, and it's in there permanently. And it allows removal of what had been just a Foley catheter that was just placed through the urethra. Procedure was done with a CT guidance, and when they do that, they first put a small catheter in, and it stays in for about a week. It has a balloon on the end of it, keeps it from being pulled out. So after he awoke from anesthesia, he went home under his sister Kim's care. So at that point, what happens is you're scheduled to return a week later, and they take this small little catheter and they put the larger one that's going to be in there for a while in. The problem is that even though I got home that first afternoon and into the evening the next day during physical therapy, a problem arose through the afternoon. A small catheter had become obstructed. And that prevented the bladder from emptying for hours.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. The distended bladder, which is below the injury, triggered this process called autonomic dysreflexia, which everyone calls AD. It's a potentially life-threatening spike in blood pressure. The only effective treatment is to correct the underlying cause of it. In this case, the blocked catheter. The problem is, flushing the obstruction required supplies that had not been sent home after his discharge the previous day. Time was critical as his blood pressure began climbing towards very dangerous levels. We're talking systolic pressure pushing 200.
Yeah.
Normal being 120 over 80 type of thing. This reaction is one of the many fatal conditions that can occur secondary to this quadriplegic condition. Kimberly and a hired caregiver, who was here during the day,
Thankfully,
had to improvise flushing this using syringes that were on hand. Lee's medical and surgical training allowed him to walk them through this predicament. Although the syringes were not the correct size for the catheter, they were able to MacGyver getting this cleared of the blockage just as the situation was approaching a critical call 911 point. Once the obstruction was relieved, which they were able to do, over a quart of urine drained. To give you an idea of this, that's roughly 5 times the amount that sends most people urgently searching for a restroom.
yeah.
So after the bladder emptied, his blood pressure quickly returned to normal. Thankfully, to date, this remains the only episode of AD that he's had to experience. Pressure sores, another problem. They're known as decubitus ulcers, are among the most dangerous long-term complications facing quadriplegics, along with pneumonia and suicide. These develop when there's prolonged pressure on tissue that cuts off blood flow to the skin and the tissues underneath it. Most commonly, it occurs over bony areas such as the hips, the tailbone, the heels, and if not recognized early, the tissue under the skin begins to die. And this creates open wounds that can quickly become infected and, in severe cases, become life-threatening. Lee would experience firsthand how quickly the problem could develop. Because of inflammation on my right shoulder tendon I had at one time, he was forced to sleep almost exclusively on his left side for an extended period. At the same time, a loss of appetite caused him to lose about 15 pounds, making him bony, basically. I had less tissue over the left hip, because the bone becomes more prominent and vulnerable to pressure. Luckily, one of his caregivers noticed a small area of discoloration before the skin broke down significantly into an ulcer. Even with this intervention, that small wound still required nearly 2 months to heal. That's how serious these things are. So after that, preventing pressure sores became a constant part of daily life. Adjustments were made to the cushion of his power chair and specialized mattress toppers that continuously shift air pressure beneath the body to help eliminate prolonged stress on any one area was put on the bed. Hospitals and rehab centers commonly use this type of technology, though the ones they have are ridiculously expensive. You can get cheaper and
Amazon.
pretty much as effective
Yeah.
of these types of things on Amazon, which game changer actually. Much of his first night home was a blur of pain, fatigue, and disorientation. But what stood out in memory with striking clarity was a meeting that Kim and Lee had the day after getting home, and it was with Comfort Keepers, which was one of a dozen or so home care companies contracted to provide caregivers. They ultimately would provide 24/7 coverage with two caregivers, one working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and another covering the other 12 hours over the night shift. It took so long before they found the right ones, each of whom had to be trained to meet specific needs, preferences, physical limitations. Quote, many of them didn't work out, and we went through a lot of them, he said. It seemed like one or more every week until we were able to settle on a few. So then down several months into the summer after returning home, a 23-year-old certified nursing assistant known as a CNA named Chelsea became his primary daytime caregiver. She was nearly 6 foot, was imposing, strong, capable, and she would be his caregiver and confidant for the next several years. Yeah. Lee and Chelsea quickly formed a close bond. And by late summer, Kim felt comfortable finally returning to her life in Seattle. She was confident that Chelsea was both responsible, trustworthy, and she began managing every aspect of his daily routine. As a former classical pianist, music had always been central to his life, and Chelsea ensured it remained that way. She set up playlists on his home sound system to play his favorite songs throughout the day. She also assisted with his physical therapy sessions and became his constant companion from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 5 days a week. Because he was virtually unable to care for himself, Chelsea handled even his most personal needs. She bathed him and dressed him, prepared his meals, and fed him. She organized his online accounts, created usernames and passwords, and managed his finances. Even a credit card bearing her name was linked to Lee's Visa account, allowing her to purchase groceries, household items, clothing on his behalf. She drove him to medical appointments. She scheduled visits with physicians, filled prescription, coordinated home maintenance. It's a lot to take care of somebody who literally can't do anything by himself. Yeah. While she was the first caregiver to remain with me long term and caring, it required far more support than just she alone could provide. As the months passed, additional caregivers were hired to cover a growing number of shifts. Overnight caregiver became especially important, someone who could relieve Chelsea at 9 p.m. and help Lee get settled for bed. They would remain available throughout the entire night to reposition him, stretch his arms, apply lip balm, wipe his eyes and face, administer medications. Chelsea then recommended Ashley, who was a childhood friend of hers who had also become a CNA. Ash had a long-term boyfriend and was helping him raise his child at home. She appreciated being able to work nights, allowing her to get some sleep while spending her days doing family activities. Another caregiver was also added to fill in to average out about 18 hours a day, 7 days a week of coverage. Chelsea also tracked the working hours of all the other caregivers and submitted payroll information to the home care company. The caregivers quickly became indispensable to his daily life. In addition to their exceptional caregiving skills, they constantly supported one another by covering shifts, adjusting schedules, and coordinating responsibilities ranging from doctor's appointments to travel arrangements. These were all 20-something women, 20-something years old. They not only brought energy and humor to the household, but also they had a natural comfort with technology. Whether troubleshooting phones, tablets, laptops, they were always willing to help what we call, quote, the old folks. Help navigate the digital world. Over time, the caregivers became far more important than employees. They grew into close friends who felt like family. And for nearly 3 years, this whole arrangement ran smoothly. And then there's the ... You're going to have to read or listen to the next chapters on that one. So that's the gist of chapter 5, as we're calling it. So
Chris says that he loves that you're doing this.
Chris
Creeps?
Chris, I don't know if it's Creeps,
Yeah,
but
just somebody.
named Chris. Someone else says that that was a hard topic and they hope the best for you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Says that you have a beautiful place there.
Well, I do have a beautiful place.
Yes.
Even the fireplace behind me is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I assume you were talking about these two.
Yeah.
Not, am I wrong? I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Boy, there
Chat?
was a list somewhere of people that had called in with some questions.
Oh, what did you do for transportation when you got home from Craig?
Oh, that's a good question. One of the other things that Kim had helped me with while we were at Craig, having to be like sent out within weeks from the hospital, I had to arrange to get a van. And a van isn't just like a minivan. These vans are conversion vans. They take the equivalent of like Toyota, Sienna, Dodge, whatevers, and GMCs and that sort of thing. They have ramps, one that allow this thing to be powered up into, but then you turn 90 degrees and you have to strap in.
Yeah.
4, major straps, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they keep this from plunging through the windshield and the in the front of the van when you get in a head-on collision. So that had to be arranged in. Luckily or unluckily, if you've been listening over the last few weeks, I had one of my best friends die of ALS. Just prior to his death, Joyce, his wife, who's one of my best friends, bought a used van that was a conversion van. They only used it once before he died, and so she just had this van sitting in her garage at home and knew about it and knew we needed a van and basically arranged. I offered to just buy her van for what she had originally paid for it, which we did. problem is we had to get the van from the valley, which
Right.
is 2 hours away, which is where Joyce lives,
To
over
hear.
here. And I think it was her daughter
I
that
think that's right.
that drove it over
Yeah.
and left it at the airport, I believe.
And then
So that when I got off the plane,
Oh,
Tim
gotcha.
and my son-in-law, who was with me on that day home,
It was there.
yeah, it was there,
Wow.
and had to get up into it. First little ramp really thing that I'd
Yeah.
navigated,
It's
but
hard.
quickly got everything arranged. It was really a janky van. It's old. It was the steering wheel was falling off, and
So,
yeah,
but I'm
it
glad you had it.
Yeah, it's
got
not
us
going now.
around, and it
Going
was
now.
for $9,000. It was probably the best investment that we ever made in basically any type of durable medical equipment, if you want to call it that. So yeah, that's how we got around.
Nancy wants to know how you're deciding between first and third person in telling your story.
How am I doing?
Other
What?
people have been asking that.
You know what? I've been trying to do this in third
It's so funny
person
that you say
Good
that.
question.
with quotes in there of first people being quoted. I didn't want
You just feel.
I didn't want the book to be every other sentence starting with I.
I did this. I did that.
I did this. I did that. That to me seems irritating.
I think the disconnect is that sometimes you're adding to the story.
Oh, I'm adding. I'm okay.
Oh,
I'm reading
it's not
this.
verbatim that he's
Yeah,
reading.
this is not
I see what
verbatim.
you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to ad lib things.
So the book will
And then
be
it's
just in
hard
when.
Yeah.
Oh, the book
way.
is way easier to
Yeah.
follow. Third person, first person, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So good question. I think that's from someone I know
Nancy
who is
Lattimore
yeah,
from Oregon
yeah,
State.
she was a
Kathy knows
yeah,
her.
Journalist.
she was a journalism major. So
Nancy.
of course she's going to pick up that. Oh yeah. Good
I love
observation.
it. Yeah.
This is a good question. Did being a doctor help you to adjust to life as a patient?
Oh,
Oh God, that's
Good question.
I don't think I really up till now, and I'm probably going to have to flesh this out in the next few weeks. It makes it easier because you understand
Right.
the process, the medical process, how the body heals, how the body adapts,
Yeah.
Symptoms, what causes what, how the nerves work, and all that sort of thing. But on the other side of it, when you've been a surgeon your whole life, being on the other side of the knife,
Yeah.
being on the other side of healthcare, makes it very difficult.
But I have to say, as the wife, whenever anything comes up, we're like, "Oh, Lee, what should we do?" He's like, "Oh, now calm down. Just do this. Just do that." I'm like,
thank God.
okay. So
Yeah.
thankfully, I'm glad that he is a retired physician surgeon because he kind of calms us down if something is not right, like your blood pressure goes up or it drops or this or that.
So
And
many.
you walk us through things that I wouldn't have been able to know what to do.
The thing about being a surgeon, especially one in solar practice, as facial plastic surgeon, you learn that the buck stops with you. There's nobody above somewhere where you can go, hey, I don't quite understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Help me through this.
Yeah.
You learn the ultimate of what I call MacGyvering. What's the saying around here? There's always a solution.
Always the
There's
solution.
always a solution.
Yeah.
Always a solution.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, though, you have to think outside the box.
Big time.
Totally.
And that's what you learn in surgical residency is,
and he's so good at that.
and so I would say, on balance, it's been way better having the medical background, which I would say a minuscule fraction of people who have these type of injuries
For sure.
are
Yeah.
trained.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question. We really have to make a note to expand on that a little bit.
Yes.
Kind of in the same vein, somebody says, not everyone in your situation has the family support or financial resources that you did. How much do you think those things impacted your recovery?
Oh, everything.
A lot. And
Everything.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in, I think it was last week's chapter, how if you don't have family, then you can't spend your entire life in a rehab hospital. You have to go home. I mean, you got to go somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And people without family don't go home. They ended up being placed in foster homes or care facilities, state-run facilities, where there's one CNA for every 10 to 20 patients. You just don't get personalized care. And there's something very healing being in your home.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, well, most people don't even think about it, but yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate that I have a beautiful family, so.
And the resources.
Then the resources to be able to afford some of this stuff. Yeah. So it's expensive.
When you finally got home after that long trip from Craig, did it feel exciting or overwhelming?
Ooh, it was overwhelming because what should have been a short trip was ridiculously long. It was the very first airline trip, the very first travel I've done. And boy, initially, it's exhausting to just manage your chair, be places where, just navigating everything. So it was pretty overwhelming. It took days to weeks, maybe, to get to the point where there was a comfort level to being here.
Is it hard to find good caregivers? You kind of touched on that.
Oh my God. That's probably one of the most common problems with people who are severely disabled. There are multiple companies that, quote, provide caregivers, but most of the caregivers that are on staff and hired by them to be then hired out are either incompetent or you really can't stand being around them because they're weird.
It's true.
So, God, with that. God,
that should be a whole chapter.
And then,
okay.
And then there's a situation where I'm the wife, so they figure, oh, well, he has somebody there. I'm sorry, we can't send anybody for you tonight. Really? So they leave us high and dry without a caregiver because, he has his wife. It's like, anyway, so it's been,
just some of the
kind
goofballs.
of a shit show. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, not my book, not my book, but in one of these chapters is going to be going over just some of the highlights of the crazy people that got dropped in our lap. No, I mean, one of them, I'm not going to mention her name, was at least 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Smoked like a freaking chimney. If she knelt down, she could barely stand up.
We just thought she was
I thought she was going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was going to have
for getting him into bed. Is she going to fall on him and have the big one and crush him?
I know.
Seriously.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Oh, God.
Okay, here's my caregiver taking care of me that collapses on me and suffocates me to death.
Oh,
Exactly, I swear.
I'd be pissed if that would happen.
Me too.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's a major problem.
Yeah.
Not just here in Bend. I mean, nationwide.
Yeah.
Caregiving is just it.
Yeah.
And we have the perfect team.
Now we have the perfect team.
We do. One of them's behind the camera right now.
Right now, exactly. And one just had a baby, and she's going to come back.
That's Ashley.
We're like, oh no, you can't leave, but she's just going to take 3 months off, and she'll be back. And
I know.
really good right now.
No, she wants to
Really
come
good right
back.
now. Yeah.
Somebody asked, has writing a book been helpful or cathartic?
I would say cathartic.
You say that all the time.
Well, I do. I mean, there's some chapters that are way more difficult than others. Sprinkled through the chapters is the frustration of a sort of a plateauing effect of physical therapy, and then has been a slow descent back into hell a little bit of not being able to function quite as well, and having increasing pain. And there are multiple chapters on all of that I think is pretty interesting because of all the interventions that are available that work in some instances on some people, but I'm pretty resistant to the effects of drugs and the effects of physical therapy and everything. So, yeah, good question.
Says you talk about some dark moments in this chapter. Was it hard to decide to include those parts of your story in the book?
Yeah, reliving becoming suicidal is kind of weird. Yeah.
And how did you decide that to put it in the book?
How did I decide what?
To include those parts of your story in the book.
Well, because I'm including everything. The whole idea of this book is to not just go over, oh, I got so inspired and I found spirituality and life is beautiful now and that sort of thing. What I'm showing is the dark underbelly, all the barnacles, all the bad crap that goes along with being a quadriplegic.
Yeah.
People just see people tooling around in a chair and going, oh, that looks like fun. And well, for all the fun part of tooling around in this thing is 99% of the time it's not good. So this is supposed to be an expose, I think, to educate people, but just get a glimpse into what it's like.
For sure.
Somebody wants to know what brand of wheelchair you have.
Oh,
This is Permobile, Permobile, very common for power chairs because they're very, very high quality. They don't break down.
Unless you're at the airport.
Unless the airlines break your chair.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
but this particular chair can actually have Lee. He has some knee braces you can put in here, and he can actually stand up in it, which is very cool.
Yep, it's healthy for bodies to be up.
Upright, yeah.
So, and I think I've got part of a discussion coming up about that.
Yeah.
Different chairs.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know about the cost of caregivers and if any of it is covered by Medicare.
No.
No.
None of it is. And okay, you can, a lot of caregivers that do this type of work are being paid in the low $20 an hour. But to get good ones and keep them, first off, you have to treat them right, but you have to pay them well. And
Well, and then the agencies, because the agencies take so much of the money. So Lee's like, no, I'm going to have my own LLC and just have my caregiver so I can pay them what I want and no money's going to go to an agency.
Right.
that's right.
So we finally got to
So
that
yeah,
point,
it's expensive.
right?
It's
Because it was really expensive when you first
it's
got
roughly
home.
$30 an hour plus, and then you know, if you have your own employees, then offer 401k
Yeah,
and pay time off,
right.
and you know, overtime, and they travel with us.
Yeah.
We try to make it fun for them to want to actually
Hang
go
out with us.
on trips. I know we're old and just falling
We have
apart.
fun.
We try.
Pretty fun.
Thanks, Brady.
Braley comes on a lot of them.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? We're almost at our hour mark.
Okay, perfect.
I think I've got one more. Somebody says, excuse me.
It's okay.
Why did you get that stiffness?
Oh, the stiffness is interesting.
Oh.
It has to do with the incomplete injury to the spinal cord. Spinal cord, you know, takes impulses from your brain down to your muscles to activate them.
Okay.
But almost as important are fibers and nerves that relax muscle.
Okay.
For example, when you're walking, you don't have to think that during a stride, certain muscles are activated, but on the flip side of that, the muscles that are on the other side of the bones that are bending the joints have to be relaxed. Well, those fibers are damaged also. And so if you don't have these inhibitory fibers that relax muscle, everything becomes stiff, gets spastic. You get what's called clonus, which is this sort of a weird vibration and a stiffness that, despite being strong enough to actually, say, squat and get back up, if you have a high degree of tone that day, that's going to prevent you from doing what you want to do, and it can be debilitating.
Yes,
So,
sure.
you know, I'm still in the process of finding out the optimal dosage for the amount of baclofen that's in my baclofen pump, which gets refilled every 3 weeks now, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a good question.
Yeah. All right.
Any other?
Might be winding down.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
Oh, we
thank
can
you for
wind
joining
down.
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good chapter, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all good chapters.
The next
Come back
one's gonna
next
be
week.
really fun.
Yeah, what is
The
it?
one that got away.
Oh, is that going to be next week?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
The
It's our love
one
story.
that got away.
It's a love story
It's
between
our
those two.
it's our reconnect,
Yeah.
which I think you'll be. I think people
fun.
find a.
It's a great one.
That's
It's
a.
great one. I think it's good. Yeah.
That's a actually. I mean, these have been moderately difficult.
Yeah.
These, you know, conjuring up all this stuff. All this stuff is by memory. I haven't journaled anything.
Yeah.
But the sort of reconnect after 40-something years is a really fun chapter.
Hallmark movie.
Yeah. No, it's a Hallmark moment.
For sure. No, it's really fun.
A Hallmark 42-year long moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tune in.
right.
It'll be
Thanks
interesting.
for joining us. We'll see you next week. Same time, Sunday, 4 p.m.
All right.